Okay, so this is the Pong game that you've all done.
Mm-hmm.
And here we see it. I don't even know what this looks like. Okay, so here is the game. Here's what I want to show you guys today. I'm going to get rid of that. Well, it doesn't matter. I'll leave that. Okay, so this right here, our function start. Do you remember what makes this run? What makes this load up right when the game's loaded?
Yeah.
Down here, right?
Uh-huh.
On the body tag. I'm going to blow this up a little bit. Okay, so when we hit this function, or when the browser loads in this body tag and it says onload start, that's what makes all of this run. That makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're going to do is, let's say, so this is the end of the start function. So I'm going to label that. Now let's say we create another function called new ball, okay? Now there's lots of ways to do a new ball, but I'm going to do it with another function so that we can time it exactly right. What we want to do is we want to make a way inside of this start function that we can call this new ball function whenever we want it and have it run code. Now, right now we're doing the boss battle competition, so this is one way if you were like fighting in a level or doing something that it could then run and create a boss whenever you wanted. Or in like the business world, if they were submitting like a form or something and you wanted to do different validations, you can trigger things at different times. So let's key off of when we get it scoring. Okay, so right here we can see this is updates our score, right?
Yeah.
And you remember this in the Pong game?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so it'll, all right, making sure that works. Okay, so the keep score works. And let's say as soon as it gets to 3, as soon as our score is 3, then we are going to call our function new ball. Okay, any idea how to do this?
We just go function new ball.
Pretty close. Okay, so first off, we need to know when the score is 3. So we're going to go,
If,
yeah. So if score is equal to 3, okay, so remember, anytime the ball hits the paddle, this code is going to run. So at first, score is 0, then it goes to 1, and it will check this if statement. Score will get replaced by the number 1, and it will say, is 1 equal to 3? No, it's not. So it's just going to skip this. But once this is true, so once 3 does equal 3, then we can call this new ball function, and you just have to type in new ball, like that.
okay.
And it will run this function. Let's just make sure that we know that that's true. So I'm just going to put an alert. You know what an alert does?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the alert is just going to be a little pop-up window. So we'll make sure it works. Oh, I'm slow. 1, I should have done 2, huh? 2, 3. Okay, so it called that function, right? Does that make sense that it worked?
Yeah.
Okay, so now instead of making an alert, let's create a ball. SJS.image, images, oh, this has to be in quotes. And we'll go spike.png. Okay, so we could do this. Oh, it made it because I got my score high enough. Okay. So there it is. So the spike ball shows up. Okay. Now we could give the spike a whole bunch of attributes just like we did the ball up here. But one cool thing about functions is you can pass in values or parameters for this new ball function to use. So for example, let's give this new ball lives, okay? You can type the word lives in there. Let's give it a height usually there's not spaces, and a width and a size. So we'll do, oh, the height and width will be the size. Let's just do those three for now. So we need to pass in something to be its live, its height, and its width. We'll have to think how lives is going to work. So in here we could put 2, and then for its height and width we could go 50 and 50. Okay, so this is a little bit more advanced stuff. So when we call this function now, we have to pass in a parameter or a number to match each of the things, each of the arguments that it needs to run. So I'll write out a little bit more code, and I think it'll make sense to you, but let me know if you have questions. Okay, so 2 lives, 50 width, 50 height. So if we go here, first let's go new ball dot type equals NB for new ball. Okay, so then we will go new ball dot lives equals lives. I'm going to put health in case that messes it up. So lives, which is going to be this, which gets replaced by this new ball, number 2. And I'll show you why we do this in a little bit. So then if we go new ball dot set size, we just do height width. Okay. All right, so if we save this and refresh, oh, I'm always slow. Then we should be, oh, I forgot to give it a speed. Whoops. So there it is. You can see the height and width changed. I forgot to make it go somewhere. Let's go new ball dot center and new ball dot push up. Okay, we'll go like this. Let's see how this goes. Okay, so far is this making sense?
Yeah.
And then it stopped because it had friction on it. So now it would just, and then we could go new ball dot bounce. So now it's going to bounce forever. And I'll show you why you do this or what it can be used for. Okay, so now it's going to bounce. It'll go through the, because we don't have an on hit, right? And we only have one. Okay, I wonder if this will work. What's our paddles called? Oh, they're paddles. This isn't going to work, and I'll show you why. We just want it to bounce off. Yeah, we just want this. Okay, let's see if it works. Oh, it does work. Okay, so let me do one more thing then. So with this, remember it has amount of lives, right?
Mm-hmm.
So every time they hit, we can go new ball dot help minus minus. Do you know what that means?
Yeah, you subtract once.
That's right. So what was our original lives? Do you remember?
Was it?
Oh, 2.
2.
Okay, so it'll go to the, now it'll be 1, and then if we go if new ball dot help is equal to 0, then we can go, remember our new ball is represented by x, so we'd go x dot destroy. Okay. So that should work. So now after I hit it a few times, it should go away. Oh, I was too slow. Oh, but he's still there. Okay, we'll try again. This game's getting complicated to play. I have to keep him alive. Yeah, see, and then it disappeared. Okay, now we're doing this with Pong. It might have been good with a different game, but let's say we wanted, we could change this to, let's see, how do you make it go wherever you want? Why can't I remember that? Let's see, instead of center, we could give it the coordinate, but so we could call this new ball function anytime and give it a different amount of lives and a different height and different width. So we have this one that's called when the score is 3. We could have another one called, let me find a good spot for one. Okay, so if the ball hits the top screen or the bottom screen, we could call new ball here, and we could put in a different amount of lives. Like this one could have 5, and it could be super big, like 250 by 250. Okay? Okay, so does this make sense what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Okay, so now we can save this, and if I hit retry, okay, we'll go 1, 2, 3. This guy comes out. We'll let that one go away. And then here comes the big one. Now he doesn't have he does have lives, right?
Yeah.
But it's not working right. Probably because this this button came up. So sometimes when you have buttons pop up, it actually pauses anything else happening in the game. Let me see if it'll work. Let's comment out all of this stuff. And let's see if it'll work. Now, the reason it made so many of them is because every time the ball hits the top or bottom of the screen, which it hits it a couple times as it goes through it, it makes a new ball. It calls this function every time.
Oh, yeah.
So many. Now, you can set it to where this on hit would have to wait 1 second before it can run again. So now it should only make 1. Okay, we ready to retry? Okay, let's see if this experiment works. 2, 3. Oh no, that one died. 2. And now then that one died. Because it had 5 lives, so as soon as it ran out, then it got destroyed. Okay, does all this make sense?
Yeah.
So had you ever done this before, being able to pass stuff into different functions?
No, I haven't, but that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so this is useful when you start building games that you want events to happen at certain times. Now, you've probably seen, since you're in the fish game, you've probably seen the set timeout and set.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's one way to do it based off time passed, and this is a way to do it based on something happening, some action. So all you do is you create the function and then what you want. So if we wanted to, we could also pass in coordinates, like the X and Y coordinates. And then instead of center, you do, why can't I think of the command, Josiah? What is it? Move to. X, Y. Okay, so then you could say, okay, so this ball that happens after I get 3 points, so we have to pass it an X and a Y. Let's move him to position 150 and 45. This ball that gets created when the ball hits the top or bottom screen, let's move him to 350. I don't really know. I can't remember how big the screen is. And 100. So now when we play this, got to hit 3 times for it to go. So it'll show up in a little bit different spot. It's not completely centered, and that one's over there. And then something happened to this guy. He's immortal. So we'd have to see, it's probably because I did equals equals. If I do less than or equal to, then it becomes more exact. Sometimes it'll count 2 really fast before this can run. So it's better to do less than or equal to. But so that's just how you can do functions. So in the tower defense game, we get into this by calling bosses and giving them, you can call multiple bosses, but reuse the same function over and over. And you can vary how many lives they have without having to write specific code for each of them, just by passing in a value to be represented by how many lives they have. So, okay, so that was the demo I wanted to do. Any questions about that?
Well, I'm wondering, with when you pass the like X, Y, height, width.
Yes.
Did you make those up, or are they part of the SJS, or does the browser already know them?
So this is completely made up. Okay, so this lives is completely just, we gave it our own property called health, and we set it equal to lives, which is just represented by a number, right?
Yeah.
So the computer reads this, when this new ball gets created, it says, okay, you made up some property for new ball called health, and it has 5 lives. And then in the logic, we just keep lowering health till it hits 0, and when it hits 0, get rid of the ball.
Yeah, okay.
So that was completely made up. Now these right here are just numbers again, but these two properties, these are built into our library.
Okay.
Set size and move to. Maybe next week I'll do a little demo on the library and why these works. Have you ever looked at the library?
I had a quick look when they introduced to it, but I didn't really look at it very much.
Yeah, so once you know a little more and you go through the courses, you could come in here. So here's the crazy library, and it's just a ton of different functions, right? So we decided, let's make a function named set size. And you can see that the set size function, so you can grow it, you can scale it. Let's find the original. Okay, so here's the original. Set size is that it actually calls a function, and it has to have a width and a height. And then this part right here, and this is crazy code, but you could, when you feel like diving into it, you can. This is saying if you don't pass in a width, if width is not undefined and height is undefined, then just make the height equal to width. So this is just kind of how we handle stuff if people forget to put stuff in.
Who made this library?
We did.
All right. That's pretty cool.
So this was us, and it's large. And see, here's why all the keys work. So you know when you do like the up key? Yeah, the up key has to have a number. The computer knows the up key on the keyboard is number 38.
Okay.
So 38 will always be the up key. So even if we named this like W key, but we set it equal to 38, you would still have to hit the up key.
Oh, okay.
So this is what's the up key is for. But yeah, so this was made by a good man named Forrest. And so a lot of the functions, not a lot, but like this is from the library. These are from the library. Friction's not from the library, is it, Forrest? Yeah. Oh, of course it is. Yeah, friction's from the library. Bounces. Yeah, these are all from the library.
Okay.
But this health one we just made up. This one we just said, we want to do some stuff with health, so we did it. The on hit, and basically the on hit, these are just shortcuts, right? I could show you how to really set the size without having to use it. It's quite a bit more code than this, but you could do it. The on hit is basically just tracking the coordinates of the ball, and when the x coordinate is equal to this paddle's x coordinate, then we push it the other direction.
Oh, okay.
Or we do whatever we want with it. We create a function that you can, that you can do whatever you want. So the on hit is basically just tracking their x and y coordinates and seeing when these two objects have the same x coordinate or y coordinate. That's all it's doing. So normally what you'd have to write instead of an on hit is you'd have to go a set interval function like this that runs like 100 times a second. So it's always tracking it. And then you'd have to do if statements, like if ball.x is greater than paddle.x, then do this, else. So this is what it's saving you from doing. Paddle.y, and then so that's what, so basically the on hit is taking care of you having to write all this out. And remember the X and Y. So do you know what ball.x means?
It's like where the ball is, basically.
Yeah. So if I right here in the left key, if I do an alert, and I just say, hey, alert me ball.x. Okay, so I'm going to hit save, and then I'll come here and hit refresh. As soon as I hit the left key, we get this alert window, and it says ball.x is 105.5. So that was the x coordinate. Oh, no. And now it's telling me all the x coordinates. I just made a virus because I held down the key for too long. But it keeps telling me where the x coordinate of the ball is.
Yeah.
Now you can see now it's off our page and going into space, and I'll probably have to restart my browser. So I just gave myself a virus. But yeah, so that's so in the library you'll see a lot of that. You'll see a lot of W and H being replaced by width and height, and so we started writing documentation for it. If you go to this link, this here, like, okay, how you can do a button. This is formatted a little bit more traditional of what you would see if you were going through a library. But anyway, excuse me, that's the demo I wanted to show you.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, did we have someone else join us? Yeah, we have someone else on here. Oh, Joe's on here. Let me see if Joe can hear me. So yeah, you're doing good. You got through all the intro to web course. You're doing the game design.
How many does the fish game just go 3 and 4, or is it 3, 4, and 5?
3, 4, and 5.
All right.
But 5 is pretty much like the game over screen, the menu screen, the win screen, and background music.
Yeah.
And then
it's like the finishing things.
Right. So your game will pretty much work after 4. You just now have to make everything so they can win and go back play again or something.
Yeah.
And then in lesson 6 you start the Mario game, and that one goes 6 to 10.
Okay, yeah.
And then you're done. Now, when you finish this, a new one should have opened up. I'll have to see why it didn't. You should have got a new course after you finish the intro to website. Anyway, I'll see what happened there. Okay, so Joe or Josiah, do you guys have any other questions? Or if there's anything that you're curious about, just in general, I can prepare a demo for it. And then maybe next week or something I can do that demo.
I just have a question. Do you have any, because I want to do the game design contest, but I don't know if I can finish in time, you know?
Oh, do something. Just upload it.
But, so for my, to do, it said that you have to have, your own original drawings, you know?
If you want to. So there is an award for original drawings. You don't have to do your own.
Oh, okay.
But if you want to, have you ever gone on this before?
Yeah, I was on that yesterday.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I just wrote a little lesson on what everything on there does. But it is in the Minecraft class.
Okay.
But yeah, so that one, maybe I just need to make some that are. Joe wants to see the Zelda Bees game. Joe, is this real, Joe? I don't think I have the Zelda Bees game. That's funny. All right, Josiah. But yeah, so you don't have to use your own images,
Okay.
but whoever draws the best ones, they get a prize too.
Okay.
So, well, cool. If you have any other questions, jump on chat.
Okay.
I'll have to find the Zelda Bees game, Joe. I don't know where it is. Okay, I'll talk to you soon, Josiah. Let me know if you have any other questions.
All right. Thank you.
Yep, we'll see you.